Hi, this is Pamela Gropey Art, and today I'm going to share how I painted this lavender and marguerite daisies in a terracotta pot. Now I did video this entire painting that I did on this black board, and then I found out I didn't have my microphone on, so now I'm having to remake it. That is why I am on this white watercolor paper instead of on the blackboard, because I didn't have another blackboard ready and I was wanting to get this tutorial done today. Okay, so here is where my pot rim is. Hopefully you can see that. I do have a pattern that I'm going to link to that you can use, and I just have a few reference marks on mine right now instead of the full pattern. I didn't want to take time to transfer the full pattern on here. So I'm going to start with doing some of my lavenders. Now I'm looking at my reference piece, and I also, if you want to check out on my blog and even here on my YouTube channel, I have another how to paint lavender tutorial where it's just the lavender flowers. And this is just me showing you how to do it with marguerite daisies. In my piece I showed you at the beginning, the daisies are white, but since I'm on white and you wouldn't be able to see it, I'm going to do them in a color. Maybe I'll do them in the dark purple. Just am going to start with two of my purples. These are the same colors that I used in my hydrangeas in a pot tutorial. You can check back on my channel for that as well. I am going to dip my brush. It is a number 6 plaid 1-stroke brush, a flat, and I am just going to start at the top and start making my chisel strokes. Now stem there, you can do that too, and just bring it down. You can make it a little bit wider at the bottom if you want, but you don't have to. You can make them all a little bit different. And let's see, I've got one over here too. You can start, you see I have the light lavender on top and the lavender on the bottom, but you can do them various ways. You can do them that way, or you could switch it where the darker lavender is on top. The color you lead with is the color that's most predominant. No, sorry, that's backwards. The one that you trail with is the one that's more predominant. You see how that one, the darker color, was the trailing color when I make my chisel stroke. And so I'm going all over the place and putting in my lavender, and I'm trying to lean these chisel strokes in towards the stem. And if you're like me and you're right-handed and you're working on a design, it's best to start from the left side and go to the right, because if I would set my hand accidentally in my painted area, hopefully you can see I'm not in your way. I'll hold my brush back further. And I'm just doing the little chisel strokes. I'm going to flip my brush over because I want the lighter purple. On the black surface, the light lavender shows up much better. So I did the majority of them with the light lavender towards the top and was like the trailing color. Sometimes I will come in and I'll show you in a minute. Let me do this one, last one for now. I mean, there's a bunch on here. It gets pretty boring just watching me do a bunch of chisel strokes, so I'll just show you that, and then I will show you that I would come in sometimes with the eggplant purple with the lavender, and then maybe bring in some darker strokes towards the bottom of the lavender buds. So, you know, some of them I have down here by the pot. And I just kind of figured out where it needed some filler. The pattern has just like the bare bones of your design, and then you'll fill in where you think it needs more color. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to show you how I do the Marguerite daisies. And I do it with the same number 6 plaid flat brush, one stroke brush. And I just kind of start on the chisel edge and I press, pull, lift, press, pull, lift, press, pull, lift, and then I do 2 chisel strokes there. So instead of my little man that I do for my 5-petal flowers, which is 1 stroke, head, 2 arms, 2 legs, which you can do some of those too, I do what I call just a head, arm, and the legs are folded. Head, arms, and a couple of chisel strokes to the side. And that creates kind of like the flowers are facing upwards, because the ones that are closest to you are rather truncated. So now remember, on my design on the black board, these are white. So they're just going to add a touch of highlight contrast for your lavender flowers. Now that one really got messed up, but I just go over and fix it. And so there was 3 up here. I try to put like 3 together in a design. Up here there was 3 of them too. Let me put, and then 2 down here, and I think there was 1 down here. But basically that's how you do the white flowers, and then you come back. On that design, I came back with the citrus green, which I use in the leaves to dot in the centers. But I'm not going to worry about that right now. You could use yellow, you could use orange, something that you would like to stand out. Orange would look pretty good because that's a good contrast with, it's a complementary color of purple. So there's some of the lavender and the marguerites. And now I'm going to put some greens out. I'm using the same greens that I used in my hydrangea in the pot painting. And it's the Citrus Folk Art Multi-Surface Citrus. These are all the Folk Art Multi-Surface paints that I'm using, but you can use what you have. You can use the regular Folk Art or other brands. Whatever you have will work. I just like these two. These are my 2 go-to greens that I like in a lot of things. If you're going to just get started and you don't want to have to buy tons of paint, start with these 2, or whatever 2 you like. Thicket is really one of my go-to colors, and I need to make a whole post on just some colors to get started with, so you're not buying all these bazillion different colors. Okay, so now we're going to do some of the stems. Now, I'm trying to do this around the camera, so forgive me if I'm a little wonky, and you can do this with a liner brush if you like. Keep getting my arm over here in my palette of paints. But so, and you don't have to go all the way to the bottom. You can because you know you're going to have a lot of leaves and coming in. I want to get a hint of stems. You could put more in. You can also use a liner brush. And sometimes I start with stems, just kind of dragging some stems in, and then I build the flowers from there. So it depends on what you're more comfortable with. So here it's the same stroke as for the lavender buds, and you're just doing little chisel strokes. So touch, press, pull, very lightly. Touch, press, pull, and you lift as you get close to the stem. Same here, just. And for the daisies, you can add little slider leaves because they're going to have a little bit different leaf. And you're just going to fill in. Try to very lightly pull some stems. And then you just fill in as you see it needs it. So over here in my other painting, I have another lavender. Just a stem and leaves here. And you just continue to fill in as you see fit. And then you would sorry, I'm thinking as I'm talking here. And then you can come in and add more lavender if you think it needs more lavender in areas, or more leaves. You just fill in as need be. Put on some music and just fill in. Okay, there's a whole nother lavender here in my other one. Clean out your brush as you feel it. Sometimes they'll gunk up a little bit, especially with the smaller brushes. And here is you can be more deliberate than I am. I'm just kind of giving you the idea of how you just keep building. I think this needs some lavender down here. And maybe here's like one over here. I think one needs to kind of go to the side. And maybe one here. And if you ever want to make it darker, you just dip into your darker paint and you can make some taller, some shorter. Just play with it. Take time to look, step back, look at it, see what it needs or what it doesn't need. And, you know, add more leaves. Can't go wrong with green. And that's basically how you do the lavender in the pot. And you just kind of fill in. This needs more green and what have you. And I'll show you the finished one. And you can see where the leaves are filled in a lot of areas. And how the white really stands out against the black and with the darker purple. It just provides a good accent for the purple. And that is how you paint lavender and marguerite daisies in a terracotta pot. So I hope you liked this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and check out my website where I have the step-by-step tutorials for the lavender, for the pot. And you know what? I don't have a step-by-step for marguerite, so I'm going to have to do one of those